All right, folks, Dustin Bynum here, and let me show you what the final outcome of this project looked like. Let me turn this camera around so we can take a look. All right, here we are. So these are those old scaffold boards, and we took our farmhouse style kitchen table. We gave it a light turquoise treatment, and which matches well with our company colors. And this is what the final product of the distressing on these old scaffold board looked like. Let me get this down here so you can kind of see the grain. It's really pitted and it's real grainy, but it's sealed, it's not splintery, and we got that nice weathered gray tone coming out in these pits and pockets, and you can see the holes. It just set down in there until it dried and left a nice dark shade in the otherwise ultra bright white exterior color that we put on the edge of those planks there. We didn't do anything fancy. We just pre-drilled and ran good old drywall screws right here in the top. It's not supposed to look like a finished product. It's supposed to look very haphazard, which actually turns out to be a little bit more difficult than, than it looks. Additionally, what we did here, just to enhance that distress look a little bit, we did a dry brush over the top of it. So what I did is I took a similar stain that was in this blue color. Now this blue color is just ever so slightly off of this turquoise. This is not the same stuff. It's not a regular enamel. It is in fact a stain. This happens to be an oil-based stain, which I didn't actually know when I started that. That was a accidental thing. So we've got an enamel right here on the white. The gray that's sitting in here is stained with poly, which actually worked out really, really well. I'm not sure how this blue stain that we dry brushed over it would have worked if we tried to do the same kind of technique with this gray stain. So it worked okay because it was a dry brush. So basically what we did is we dabbed a little bit of it into the stain with a dry brush. Make sure that the bristles are not too loaded up. In fact, the rattier and nastier the brush is, the better. So we used one that was, had been worked to death. It was kind of blown out, and just gave it some swats across the top just to get a little bit of that stain to transfer. And you can kind of see basically what it does is it just loads up right on the high points. It really kind of comes off more like paint transfer or rub transfer than anything else. But man, it came out fantastic. Couldn't be happier. Wasn't too concerned with the edges. I actually wanted the edges to look like it had been painted and painted again. I could have been a little happier with it. You can see the stain where things were kind of dripping over the edge. Some of that was already, in the wood already from when we got it, but it actually enhanced it a little bit more so than I would have liked, and came out a little bit darker than the top. But small potatoes. This whole set with this nice chair and everything here turned out exactly what I had envisioned. So I'm very, very happy with it. Came out fantastic. I have another video on this project over here. Let me show you. And here is our office, kitchen, and coffee bar area. So kind of did the same thing here. Same plank and material, old scaffold board, got that distress weathering on it. We had a couple of these cantilever brackets, which was perfect for that shelf. Dumb luck that it came out to be exactly the same width as a cantilever. These were old, left behind from another project. Didn't plan that. It just happened to be what we had, and it worked. And then this pipe here is our new coffee mug rack. We have some just good old shower hooks that are going to hang on there for hanging our coffee mugs up there as a storage. We have a fairly small office, not a lot of storage space. You can see right there in the back, we got some coffee cups just on the countertop. We kind of want to clean that countertop up and get those lifted up to the top. What we used here was just a piece of good old 1/2 inch black pipe, and just to make sure it doesn't rust out because it's raw material, we hit it with a rattle can of oil rub bronze, so it's got that nice dark color to it. It's got a little bit of flake and a luster to it. Looks really pretty with the contrast there. You can see we've got our office dishes and materials, teas, and that kind of thing up there. So very happy with the end outcome. Very happy with this countertop here, or desktop, and that is going to be the recurring theme through this office. We've got more of these to come. Let me show you real quick what we were working with before. So we have this, and that is butcher block, and it's got a nice Kona stain on it. In fact, some of them we have in this office were done in Kona. Some of them were done in espresso. It's a very similar color, different products, different manufacturers. Doesn't matter. Same end result with the color. Got a couple of little dots there, but no big deal. And then underneath is what it looks like. See that nice rich butcher block. So we did the same thing, farmhouse design, on an old reclaimed kitchen table. We just sprayed it with our light turquoise and brushed in the corners where we needed to. But these butcher blocks, we came across, we found. They were initially a product that was carried by IKEA for kitchen countertops. Usually if you go into our local IKEAs, which we have, I think our closest one's Covina, they usually have these for, I don't know, $200-300 a slab. But they discontinued the lighter color model and went with something that looks more like the color stain that we have now. But the new product is more like a fiberboard with a butcher block style laminate over the top of it. It's a little denser and heavier than its predecessor, its actual real butcher block cousin. But they discontinued it. So we stumbled across this one day walking into an IKEA just to browse, and they had pallets of these sitting at the front of the store in the as is section. They were blowing them out for $25 a piece, which was a no-brainer to me because anywhere you go for butcher block is much more expensive than $25. So we bought everything that they had in stock that day, loaded up in truck, took them home with us, and we've used it on projects ever since. I mean, the fact that the lumber is more expensive just for the raw materials than what they were selling them as a blowout was an easy decision to make. So we've used these on several projects over the years. I wish I had the foresight to put videos together on some of the projects that we've done over time. I was always so excited about doing the project, I never spent much time thinking about documenting what it is that I'm doing or showing off my work. Usually 2-3 people ever get to see it, and then from there, it's usually given away or something is sold off in a property or something like that. So sometimes we use them for staging items, whatever it might be. So in this case, now that we have a preference of style and we like these scaffold boards, these former butcher blocks are going to be repurposed again for something else. What project, we don't know, but we have 3 full slabs of these left. It'd be interesting to see what we end up doing with them next. There's been some thoughts about actually cutting them down and using them for other things. In fact, I may do another video on butchered block bathroom countertops, which is a project that I have done in one of my properties with large resin basins in them on workbenches. And I can't tell you how many compliments we get on this setup. So we may actually be building several more of these, possibly for use in our office. We have a couple of locations that we could use these in, but they just come out great, and they seem to be a crowd pleaser. People like them. I have the materials. Most of the stuff that I come is reused, repurposed, or otherwise, we try to be green friendly with recycling what materials that we can. But we really like this farmhouse industrial, semi-industrial look where we've used reclaimed things. So we're generating new reclaimed items for the next project, and I think that's going to turn out to be really, really cool. So we'll see where that goes. That project's going to get tabled. These materials are going to go into our storage until we harvest enough materials to put together a complete system. But I am keeping my eye out for some steel framing. Truss would be fantastic, steel truss. Maybe old racking for tanks. That would be kind of a cool position. Something that might be cast iron legs might be a fantastic fit for repurposing some of these. I've seen things, different projects that people have done with similar themes and styles, kind of in that vein of farmhouse and reclaimed, that use old Singer sewing machine, bases for that kind of thing. So I'm keeping my eye out for anything that might fit that. Cast iron seems to be kind of where my mind's at right now, but the beauty of this is I don't get to pick. Fate picks for me what this next project's going to be. So depending on what I stumble across and my time availability and need of the week will kind of determine what items get pulled for the next project, and that's kind of where we're going to go with it. So I have a really fun time doing these projects, guys. I hope you enjoy watching these videos. I hope you can kind of maybe see what I do and how I work with these materials, and take something that's generally taken for granted or otherwise been scrapped, and turn it into something that can be a very useful or utilitarian type item, or even a showpiece. So I don't know. I get a thrill out of doing this stuff. It's really a hobby for me, but I make that hobby also serve a purpose in being useful in my day-to-day life, and I tend to use most of the projects that I put these time and efforts in on a daily basis. So some of the most valuable projects that I put together out of reclaimed, salvaged pieces are the pieces that I spend more time with on a daily basis than anything that I've ever put that I bought from off the shelf. So I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it too. Hopefully you can take something out of these videos and use it for your own hobbies or projects. Hopefully there's something that you might have picked up or learned or can otherwise hijack for your own hobbies and projects. And if you're, kind of doing the same thing as I do, drop me a comment, drop me a line, send me some pictures. I'm always curious to see what other people do. I've been starting to collect photos and videos from people that have been inspired or otherwise influenced by things that I've worked on in the past. And I'm hoping that if I get enough content like that, maybe I can put together a video of just work that's been submitted to me from being inspired by the things that they've seen in some of my videos. So hope that works out for you guys. Until then, this is Dustin Bynum signing off. This is another Pleasant Hill DIY moment. Take care, everybody.